Hi designers, this is Tammy from SketchUp for interiordesigners.com, and today we are talking about elevation drawings. Now this tutorial is sort of a quick and dirty way to draw an elevation drawing. It's not necessarily the most effective for long-term dynamic drawings, but if you have a client who needs an elevation drawing quick, or you're doing a mood board and you just need to make sure that everything fits in a space, this is the perfect way to do it. The other way I will cover in future videos, and that way is if you are bringing up the walls, drawing 3D drawings. It's a more dynamic model that you're drawing, and that would be more effective for long-term clients who you're doing their whole house and you're switching furniture in and out, and that way you don't have to redraw it every single time. But for this purpose, we're just doing a quick and dirty one just to get it done, basically. And for this video, I'm using a floor plan that we drew in another video, how to draw a floor plan from a PDF without dimensions. And if you want to go back and do that video, great. If not, you can go ahead and follow along here. And for this drawing, I've got a mood board that we're going to put in this little itty bitty condo living room. And it's an old mood board that I did for a client quite a while ago, and it's pretty simple, and that's why I chose it, just because it's got a few elements in it to get us started and learning. We've got our sofa, coffee table, rug, and some artwork that will be including in our elevation drawing. I don't know if I'll include this lamp just because of its interesting shape. Might be a little more tricky, but this is Keynote. It doesn't really matter what you use. You can use Photoshop, PowerPoint, Illustrator, whatever it is that you use. Totally fine for mood boards for the purposes of this tutorial. So let's go back to our SketchUp drawing. I've recorded all of the dimensions of my furniture and artwork, and that's really important, of course, as designers know, to make sure that everything is going to fit and scale correctly in relation to each other. So I'm going to go ahead and create some furniture and my rug to place in this living room. I like to create my furniture outside of my drawing just because it doesn't mess with my drawing in any way, and then drag it into the space. So let's start with the sofa. I'm going to activate my rectangle tool by pressing R or this button up here. You're just going to click and release and start typing 7 feet, comma, 45 inches. So that's 7 feet by 45 inches. Okay, so that's the basic shape of my sofa, and you can go ahead and add details if you'd like, add a back to it, a little bit more than that, add some arms, however you want to illustrate a sofa to your client. Works just fine with me. However, you might want to draw more of the details of the specific sofa, but I'm just going to leave it like that. So then you highlight it all and you press Command G or Control G if you're on a PC, and then you get your move tool M, and I'm going to grab it by this purple dot right here, and I'm going to move it to the center of the wall, which will be a blue dot. Those two dots will line up nicely for you. All right, so we've got our sofa. Now let's go ahead and draw our rug. It's an 8 by 10 rug, so get R, click and release, and 8 foot, comma, 10 foot, enter. All right, we've got our rug, double click, Command G, Control G, and then move it wherever it is that you would like. And this may or may not be the best size rug for this room, but just for the purpose of learning, let's just go ahead and stick with this. Maybe you want it centered a little bit more. All right, now let's do our coffee table. Come back out here. C for circle. It's going to be 30 inches in diameter, so we're going to go a 15-inch radius. So you can see down here in our dimensions box that it says radius and not diameter. So we're going to need whatever number that is, we're going to double it, and that's what it's going to end up with. So I typed 15, and now it measures 30 inches across. Okay, go ahead and group that and move that in. Again, this may or may not be the best sized coffee table for this space, but we're learning about elevations, not about scale today. We've got the basic elements in the living room. Now let's go ahead and start our elevation drawing. We're going to draw it up here, like I said, and basically we're just going to draw the box. So we've got this wall. I want you to get your tape measure tool and double click on this wall, and it's going to create a vertical line here. And double click on the inside of this wall. You can see this is inside to inside. And then this one, click and then release, and we're going to drag up here. That's going to be your floor, and our ceiling is 8 feet. So click and release and type 8 feet, enter. All right, that's our wall right there. Let's delete our guidelines, edit, delete guides. Come back down here and start drawing your sofa. Double click, and we can do our coffee table. The double click doesn't work on a circle, but you can drag it from another spot. All right, and our sofa is 34 inches high, so 3, 4. We're just going to draw a rectangle, and our coffee table is 16 inches high. All right, and however you want to represent this round coffee table, we're just going to do this for now. Okay. You may want to group your sofa before you draw it, before you drew the coffee table over it, but this is fine. Now you can add more detail if you want to the sofa. Let's see. And I think that it had 3 cushions, so let's go ahead and click on this line, divide into 3. That was a right click, divide into 3. And then maybe you want to get your arc tool out, A for arc, and start drawing some of these lines. Whatever works best for you is fine with me. Okay, good enough. This is just to make sure that everything's going to fit. Okay, now we've got our artwork. Now it's up to you, creative license, to decide how high that ledge is going. We're going to go here, and let's just say our ledge is about like that. Rectangle tool. Okay, now we've got our pictures. We can center that if you'd like, but let's go ahead and draw our pictures. So get our rectangle tool out, and we're going to do, let's go back to our mood board. Maybe 16 by 20, 20 by 16, and 18 by 24 or something like that. So let's go back here. I think those are from Minted. Okay, what did we say? We've got 16 by 20. And then I like to get my offset tool and go 2 inches for the frame. And then let's go ahead and group that. 20 by 16, 2 inches, group that. And 18 by 24, 2 inches, group that. Okay, now let's go ahead and use our move tool to arrange those however you would like. Something similar to our mood board. All right, and now you can decide, maybe you want those frames to be bigger, maybe you want one to be smaller. You look at your options. In this case, it's from Minted, and look at the options that are available for those photographs, and you can scale them differently, and you can make those decisions because now you see everything in elevation view. So now we've got this elevation done. Let's go over to our bedroom, and we'll do the bed. Okay, so now maybe your client says, I really want a king size bed in the master bedroom, and you stand in the space and you're like, well, maybe I think it might fit, and they're like, oh, it'll fit. So let's go ahead and draw a king size bed. Let's go out here and let's go 85 by 87. Maybe that's the size of the frame and everything. So let's go ahead and group that. And center it under our window. Okay, now, without drawing any pillows or anything like that, we can just place that in there and we can tell our client, get our tape measure and say, okay, well, it fits, but there's only about a little over 2 feet between each side of the bed and the wall, and they have to decide if that's enough room for them or not. You may need to tell them they might need a little more space for their chosen nightstands or the nightstands that you would like to recommend, or that might just be perfect for them, and you can decide that with them. So let's go ahead and draw an elevation drawing in relation to the window. Maybe you chose a headboard that fits this side, and you want to make sure that the headboard isn't taller than the window. So let's go ahead and get our tape measure tool, double click, and drag this up, and then go 8 feet. Now we're going to be drawing it sideways, so I know that might be a little bit tricky, but that's our wall. Let's go to delete guides. So we've got our wall. Let's draw our window. Okay, and say it matches with the door. The top of it is 6'8", and it's 3 feet down from there. Let's get our rectangle tool. That's your window. Now we've got our bed. Let's get these out of here. We've got our bed, and the bed that we chose, the headboard is 39 inches tall. So let's go 39. Perfect. It just barely fits. So let's go ahead and draw that bed in there. All right, and then maybe you have some nightstands to draw in here to see how high those are in relation to the bed. At this point, we can go ahead and flip it if you'd like. Let's highlight it and get this guy up here, our rotate tool. Click and click again, and click and release. Gosh, click and release and drag that up there. You'll have to play with it a little bit to get that. So we can draw more detail on our bed. Maybe it's got a 6-inch clearance here. Let's delete that. Maybe it has some legs here. Whatever it is that you would like to draw for details for this bed. May or may not have a headboard, and so on. So the basics of what we're trying to learn here is just that your bed will fit under this window in the way that you and your client would like it to. And to illustrate that, maybe on a mood board, or to show your client how much space you have. It's not going to be the most pretty elevation drawing, but it's definitely going to convey what you were hoping. And then again, like I've said in past videos, we can change the style of these. And I'm also going to show you how to dimension it. Let's go to Window Styles. And one of my favorites is select Sketchy Edges. And just a really simple one that just makes it a little bit thicker, more artistic. Okay, now that we've changed the style, we can either change it back to the regular style or keep it at this one, but we're going to dimension this and go to Tools, Dimensions. And now you can either highlight, so you can see this blue line is highlighted, and click on that and drag it out and it'll just say 8. Or you can go endpoint to endpoint, you can go midpoint like that. You can see that these blue lines are separated because this is not, well, even if it was grouped, it probably wouldn't work. You need one solid line. So I would go endpoint to endpoint here. Dimensions again, and go endpoint to endpoint, 3 feet. Line up there. Okay, so now we've got our dimensions. We can communicate that to our client. You might want to dimension that so you can see how far to the wall. Let's go out here to our sofa area. That looks really nice. Let's go to Tools again, Dimensions, the wall. Let's see, how would we do this? Like that. You just have to find some endpoints or some points somewhere to grab from to dimension. If you can't find a point, sometimes I like to get my tape measure out and create a point for it. Like that, and then just delete my tape line because there's no point here for the dimensions to grab from. Okay, so now we've got this. Now, a few ways to put this into my presentation. I can either take a screenshot and pull that onto my presentation, or I can go to File, Export, 2D Graphic. And I'm just going to go Condo Elevation 1. I can either do a PDF or a JPEG. Let's do a JPEG. All right, let's go back over here to this guy. Export, 2D graphic, Condo Elevation 2. Export. Okay, let's go back to our presentation, and we are going to, however you insert at this point is up to you, and the program that you're using. But like Keynote, now I've got this little thing hanging off, so I'm just going to go ahead and clip that off. All right. However you would like to communicate this to your client, just so that they have the information. All right, in presentations in the past, let's see, this is one of them. I've just done a floor plan. I cleaned it up really nicely. This one is much more to scale, so you can see that this mood board, here's my high board, my low board, and the prices with a floor plan so they can see and plan a little bit more clearly, and you can explain what your plan is. And then here's a bathroom with another floor plan, and you might be able to include the elevation drawing as well. So in future videos, I want to show you a more dynamic way to do your elevation drawing so that when you change out a sofa, it just automatically changes your elevation drawing as well. But that's a little more advanced. I'd like for us to learn how to bring up the walls first in future videos, and I look forward to showing you that.